It used to be we flourished, the goo here kept us nourished. Now our lovely home's impurish, and we miss fresh goo. Goo, goo, what happened to you? You smell like old socks from mathless shoes. Ooh, goo, goo, there's just one thing to do. Find the key, stop the monster, and clean up the goo.
I mean, did it come out in 2001? Yeah, it came out in 2001. Maybe they could have put on GameCube, but it'd be, you know, low quality graphics. People expect a little bit more effort put into it. Yeah. Either way.
I mean, I doubt it, but still, it would have been, like, probably cool to see.
I mean, a handful of games got ported from PS1 to GameCube, like Resident Evil. There was a, what is it called? Bubble something? Bubble Jam. That was a PS1 game, then it got... Bubble Pop, that was it. It was on PS1, then it got ported to GameCube, and it was on Xbox as well.
I just, like, remembered, like... Wasn't Nicktoons MLB maybe at some point planned to be unleashed for the, you know, PS2?
It's possible.
I mean, no, not the PS2, the PS3. Wow.
The PS3 is a hard console to port to, though, so that's probably why they cancel it. So, if you're making a game that has to be on the PS3 and Xbox 360, most people just make the PS3 version first, and then they port it to Xbox 360. Because if you make the Xbox 360 version first, and then port it to PS3, then that's not going to work. Because the PS3 has like a different setup for some reason. It's more complicated to program for the PlayStation 3. I know games like Bayonetta had like trouble porting to the PlayStation 3. So much so that the Bayonetta game that came out on PlayStation 3 sucks. So it's absolutely horrible. It doesn't run well. It crashes a lot. Frame rate dips. All that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. But then I hear also people saying, like, you know, things like the Yellow Avenger, Lights Camera Pants, was meant to be unleashed also on the DS and the PSP, but I'm hearing that. I'm like thinking, well, that can't be true because Yellow Avenger was on those consoles, so...
Yeah. I think it was just a rumor. I don't think that's real.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on the official site on Light Camera Pans on the archives, the Internet Explorer archives, which, by the way, is probably the best thing to exist.
How do you feel about the Yellow Avenger? Do you like that game? I'm kind of mixed.
I'm mixed about Yellow Avenger. I like it, but at the same time, I really don't. The PSP version, I feel like, is a little better than the DS version.
I think the PSP version runs better. Like the DS version like runs at like 20 frames a second, while the PSP version, you know, doesn't have any issues running the game. But the problem is the touchscreen controls make the game fun. So like, you know, milking the jellyfish, picking up items inside SpongeBob's house, that's more fun with the touchscreen than with buttons, you know? So, the DS version has that advantage, but they also have a disadvantage because it doesn't run well and doesn't look as nice as the PSP version.
I even remember with the PSP version, unlike the DS version, like, characters were in, like, different spots. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but...
They had characters in different spots, and they had different enemies to fight.
Yeah, and, like, I always remember this with, like, one of the back of the screenshot of the PSP version was that the Atomic Flounder was, like, near the bus stop station, but in the DS version, he's, like, more further away.
Yep.
But I always remember this issue with the DS version, but this was, like, somewhat fixed with the PSP version, but, like, when you're battling shrimp and
Jumbo Shrimp.
Boss fight me. Yeah.
Your
Maybe
microphone
it
was cutting off.
meant to be- Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Maybe my theory was that there was going to be uh, like a boss fight theme, but then oh, they just didn't have enough time to, so
Yeah. Well, the boss fights in Yellow Avenger weren't that good in general. It's like, you gotta get the special palette that we just invented for this one level. We just gave you that upgrade. So go get that upgrade, and then fight this boss fight with minimalistic control input. Suppose you just like gain the water balloon special up, and then throwing at that water balloon at the enemy.
yeah, exactly. Except for like the dirty bubble.
Yeah. That one, I think you gotta
Which,
get the
by the
raging
way-
whirlpool and jump on his head or something.
I always remember I just always had a hard time with that mission so badly to get Miss Krabs' lucky nickel. I always thought like it would have
Yeah.
been like in rock bottom.
I had a hard time getting all those pearls for Mrs. Krabs or Mama Krabs. I eventually got them all, but it took me a while to do it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that game. I would give it like a 5 out of 10, but I would prefer the DS version, even though it has a lower frame rate, just because it's more fun to play with the touchscreen controls. But it's not a very good game. It's like a rip-off of Tumby for PS1, Tumba.
I even heard like originally the DS version was meant to like have the DS version. I think all versions were like they were meant to have like Bubble Bash and Flats the Flounder in that game.
Yeah. It's people like they're not in the game, but I guess they didn't have time to put them in. Like for what it's worth, the Yellow Avenger game has a lot more references to SpongeBob episodes and Battle for King Bomb even. Like they reference the Winnie Hut Juniors in the game. Some of the missions you have to collect those items. They reference actual episodes from the show. They got they even got the jellyfish factory from that jellyfish episode of SpongeBob with Mr. Krabs, getting jellyfish jelly to make the Krab Patties. They even reference that. They're like, there's a whole building you can go into for that one episode.
I mean, also I remember the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game also had like a few references to the show too.
Andy Kishoff says, I heard the reason why the Rugrats babies are not in the Nickelodeon All-Star Ball game is because it would have looked bad having baby cows beating each other up. That's the reason why they're not in the game. I mean, yeah. I mean, do you want babies fighting each other?
And that's funny because like I remember Tommy was in Super Brawl Universe, so there was that.
Yeah, like they're in a fighting game already. The mobile phone game. I think Angelica's in that game too.
And Reptar, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not the case. That's a lie. Just because people thought it would make sense, and it does make sense, but at the same time, no, they actually did put them in fighting games already. I don't know who would win on a fight, Tommy Pickles or Chucky. My money's on Tommy. Go for the throat, Tommy.
I would always assume like maybe Tommy, given the fact that Chucky's basically scared of anything.
Yeah, plus Tommy has a screwdriver. He can fight with that screwdriver. It's like a shank. I'm on the final boss of the Jimmy Neutron area, and after this got Tack, and then I get to the final boss and I win the game. Finally. So close to the end.
Sometimes I do a music swap with like the final boss in Globs of Doom, where like I take the final boss from Battle for King Bottom, and then just basically turn down the final boss music for like Globbies Maximus once you're the ship.
Yeah.
love using the final boss theme. It makes me feel like I'm tackling the most dangerous adventure of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
I even tried making a Roblox version of the final boss in Balcony Bottom.
Nice. I used to like build stuff in Roblox as well, but I mostly just did asset flips. I like, oh, this guy has some cool stuff. Let me download this and put it in my thing because I'm not, creative. I'm not good at creating stuff in Roblox.
I'm only good with like implementing like models and just details, and that's it.
Yeah.